Hello, my name is Chris. This is video number 12 for Networks and Data Security. In this video, we're going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of various network structures. I'm sinking into this couch. I can already feel this was a mistake. So, number one, we're going to identify the advantages and limitations of using cloud services for mobile applications. Now, some of the benefits of using the cloud for mobile applications include the flexibility, cost efficiency, and the ease of use for the backup and restore features. Of course, it also comes with disadvantages, primarily security. The performance and connectivity of the service is also dependent on your connection to wherever these services are stored, let alone your cellular network, which can be unreliable at times, and the vendor lock-in or dependency, which means the necessary use of your provider's network. And if that network is not in the best shape, or if it's too congested, this can lead to problems with using cloud services. But if you own a mobile device at all, Android or iOS, you make use of cloud services even if you don't realize it. The Google Drive, Google Play applications, as well as the iOS store. But even things like Dropbox, online storage, right? Spotify is cloud-based music. It's all in the cloud. Much like Google Maps, whether you're using it on your mobile device or on your computer. Google Maps and the cache for the different maps that you browse through, the locations you find, they're all stored in the cloud online. Thank you. Next, we'll discuss the advantages and limitations of using a wide area network that includes networks with limited bandwidth. Now, most wide area networks benefit from centralized IT services, boosts in privacy, guaranteed uptime, and generally speaking, an increase in network bandwidth. Now, again, that last part isn't always the case, but even a network with limited bandwidth is still going to benefit from those other three key traits. And of course, there's always a catch. The disadvantages of a wide area network are typically the high setup costs, the raised security concerns, and maintenance issues. It costs a lot, not just to provide internet to a city the size of Thunder Bay, but imagine Toronto, Washington, D.C. Providing internet over an area that large, let alone internet that needs to meet the demands of the amount of use that it's going to see at any given time, is expensive. But that is also scalable too. Again, there are the added security concerns with a wide area network. The larger the network, the larger the area, the more people connected, the more people with access, the more potential there is for people out there who just want to watch the world burn. And again, maintenance issues. Small towns may not have the money to set up as a modern or cutting-edge network as some of the largest cities do, especially in smaller areas. But again, the larger the area, the more people connected, the more frequent, the larger the quantity of maintenance issues, and more frequently these issues will arise. It gets expensive maintaining these networks, no matter how much money you put into it from the get-go. Everything breaks down over time. And the larger your network, the more moving parts there are, so to speak. And now we move on to the various network structures. During this PowerPoint, I'm going to be discussing 4 different types of networks. First, we have LANs, then WANs, the internet, and cellular. Now, for each type of network, I'm also going to be describing the general coverage range of each type, the on average cost, and for the most part, we're just assuming a monthly upkeep or a monthly cost to have the service. And lastly, we're going to be discussing the reliability of these different network types. So, for LANs, average coverage, the interior of a building. The overall cost of a LAN is low. I mean, you might pay anywhere between $50 and $300 for a router, wireless capability. Depends on the amount of versatility you want out of the device, how many users you want to support, etc., etc. For the average home, you can set yourself up for $60 to $100. Nope. The reliability of a LAN is high. Now, assuming you are plugged in directly to the network, the speeds these days in routers and whatnot are unparalleled when it comes to network service. But even over the wireless connectivity,
Speeds are very good. The reliability overall, though, is high because of the general proximity you need to be in relation to that device. Wide area networks. Overall coverage, intracity. So in your homes and in various businesses, there are local area networks. But there's a wide area network that covers, I'm going to specifically say that a wide area network covers portions of Thunder Bay. There isn't one network that covers Thunder Bay, but there are a series of a few interconnected wide area networks throughout Thunder Bay. And I say that because they're not all actually maintained or operated by the same company. So, but in some larger cities, you could have an area the size of Thunder Bay covered by a wide area network because it's all one provider. It was installed by one company, it's maintained by one company, operated, monitored, etc. by one company. In this case, the perspective on cost involved is relative to the area that it needs to cover, of course, and the quality and quantity of different nodes and pieces of equipment along the way to provide the coverage over the distance they need to. But as far as networks go, it's medium-low in terms of cost to get something like this set up. Reliability, medium-high. Again, you're basically in a wired, large network. Now, the next kind of network is the internet. The internet, of course, I'm sure we're all aware, is basically an interconnection of various wide area networks. The general coverage of internet is global, and I say that generally because, well, there's some areas that still don't have internet, and it's just the way the world works. The overall cost for the internet is low monthly. This is taking the perspective of the general consumer, be it a person or like in a home or a business that's subscribing to the service or interconnect, and the reliability on the internet is medium. This is put kind of right in the middle, more so because of the fact that it's all relative and it depends on what you're trying to connect to. And lastly, cellular. I mixed up the animation on this, that's fine. The overall coverage of cellular is again listed as global, but this time it has that fancy pretty little asterisk next to it. Primarily because, again, cellular service, just as much as internet, is not exactly global. It's not entire coverage worldwide. The overall cost of cellular service is considered medium. Now, this is either from the perspective of a consumer who's, instead of paying, say, $50 a month for their internet, are now paying anywhere between $80 and $100 for the cellular service, which is also now data dependent. And the reliability of cellular service over SMS is low because in low signal situations in areas, or especially over distance, SMS transmittability goes down, and it can go down dramatically, if not entirely. Whereas over data, the reliability is considered medium. More so, again, because most cellular devices these days, if not 90% of them, can connect to a Wi-Fi network for data connection and not rely on that cellular signal itself for data transmission.
All right, that about wraps things up for video number 12 for networks and data security. Again, my name is Chris. The next video, we're going to be covering the risk of data loss and corruption and the steps that you can take to try and minimize the impact and potential of those things occurring. Who made this? It's like swill. All right, I made this. Thank you.